Hi, welcome back. I'm Sifu Wayne, author of the Wing Chun Compendium series of books and head instructor of the Canadian Wing Chun Academy. I'd like to welcome you to the next in a series of video question and answer sessions. Let's head on out to the studio. Hi, welcome back. This week we're going to talk about Chi Sau, and specifically within the Chi Sau context, we're going to talk about these things called the unstoppable techniques. First, what I'd like to do is explain a little bit about what Chi Sau is to us and what's its purpose. First of all, it's a drill, not a fight, so there is no winner or loser. And in this Chi Sau context, in this drill that we have, we're going to try and find a way to enter into the boundaries of our partner while preserving or maintaining our own boundaries and our own distance. So I consider Chi Sau to be like a discussion with the hands. The two partners, normally a Si Hing and a Si Dai, the two partners are going to have a discussion about who's on center, whose hands are on the center line, and who is in the right position between the two of them. I'm going to help my partner, and my partner is going to help me to learn when they're out of position so that they can learn how to fix that problem and learn, more specifically, learn how to prevent it from happening. The other thing I'm going to do in the Chi Sau drill is I'm going to learn how to put into practice the theories of Wing Chun. Specifically, I want to learn how to put into practice the theory of efficiency in time, efficiency in motion, and efficiency in energy. So in order to help us practice these things, we're going to put some pretty specific rules in place around what exactly is Chi Sau. These rules that we're going to put in place, a few of them, for example, both partners are going to start in the Wing Chun stance. Both partners will use the Tan Sau, Bong Sau, Fuk Sau. And both partners are going to have some restrictions put on what they're allowed to do. For example, when they're doing the techniques, when they're doing the Chi Sau, they have to have the ability for the Fan Sau, or the continuing hands. They have to have the ability to exchange their hands. They have to have the ability within the Chi Sau drill to do a two-handed technique, like Tan Da, or Lop Da, or Pak Da. So no single hand techniques. Within the Chi Sau context, they also have to practice, when they do a technique, to be doying, or facing their opponent. So, and nothing like this, because I'm not facing my opponent. Both partners have to work on having their energy or their intent going towards the center line in a straight line. Straight line techniques. If they shift, punch comes from the center in a straight line. And the other thing we're going to put in place is that each partner has to strive to control two of the partner's hands with one of theirs. These are the rules that we put in place to help each partner learn the things that we talked about a little bit earlier, learn the skills. In addition to all of those things that the partner has to do, we also put some restrictions. What are they not allowed to do? These techniques that we say you're not allowed to do, we call unstoppables. Not necessarily because they can't be stopped. So it's important to say that this Chi Sau exercise we have is focused on teaching us these attributes and these skills, what I'll call teaching our hands how to be reasonable. It does not teach us how to fight. So a lot of folks will use this drill to train for the fight, and that brings in additional attributes that causes the hands or allows the hands an excuse or a reason to act unreasonably. Many of these techniques which we disallow, what we call the unstoppables, we disallow because they take advantage in some cases of the fact or the knowledge that each partner is going to do a pre-described set of movements at a pre-described time. So each partner will do the Tan Sau, followed by Bong Sau. And both partners know this is going to happen, so it's possible for one partner to take advantage of this knowledge and hit the other partner. Kind of makes it like a fight when it shouldn't be. So what we want to do if we're going to say, this technique is used for a fight, or is this technique good, or does this technique practice the theories of Wing Chun, efficiency of time, motion, and energy? I want to introduce a new drill that will allow you to test this question. And in this drill, what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove some of the rules that Chi Sau has, that being specifically, you have to use Bong Sau, Tan Sau, Fuk Sau. So I'm going to invite Tony up here for just a second, please. And the way this drill works between two similar skilled people, two people with similar skill, is we'll just start, you put the Jong Sau. As soon as the Jong Sau goes up, now there's no Bong Sau or Tan Sau or Fuk Sau. Soon as the Jong Sau goes up, you attack. Two hands to one. So Tony doesn't know what I'm going to do. I don't know what Tony's going to do. And we're both attacking. This gives us a context which is a little more like the fight than the Chi Sau drill. So we can test if our hands are moving in the right way, if they're going to center properly, if they're trapping, if they're adhering to the three theories. It allows me to test if I've entered their boundaries, which clearly I had in that case, while maintaining my own. And when we're finished, we can have that discussion to say who's on center line, who's in position, and who's out of position. So this is a good testing grounds to see, is Chi Sau teaching me the right things? I'd more like to say, let's discuss the principle. Is it more economical to have your hand on center and then hit on center, or more economical to move the hand off of center and then return it. So we can always discuss within Chi Sau, was the move as economical in time, motion, and energy as it could have been? And let those theories dictate, or let those theories govern which techniques we use and which techniques we don't. The first technique that I'd like to explore or demonstrate out of the unstoppables is what I affectionately call the Lop and Chop. I'd like to invite Tony up here to help me out with that. What we're going to do is start by rolling here. So Tony does a Tan Sau, Bong Sau, down, up, down, up, and as soon as he starts to go down, I chop him in the eyeball. I add that with a shift and Lop Sau, and I have a technique that looks like Wing Chun. Very fast. The question I want to ask, is there a more economical way, a more economical technique than this? That's the question. There are some unstoppable techniques that involve using the elbow. I'd like to invite Tony up so I can demonstrate one of them. Here we're doing the Chi Sau, and what I'm going to do is capture this hand, step in to pin with the elbow, looks reasonable. The problem with this one, let's just assess in terms of efficiency of movement. This versus this. You be the judge. Which of those two techniques teaches you economy of motion and economy of time best? I'd like to thank everybody for spending the time with me again this week. I have absolutely no idea what I'm going to talk about next week, so please send me some suggestions. Until then, thank you very much. Bye for now.